Hello everyone and welcome back to the last episode of Dust and Illusion Tale speedrunning tutorials, where I go over the any percent Warpless routes. Finally, I'm at the last episode of this tutorial and I can finally finish it. It has been quite a workload for me personally, and I'm kind of glad it's over now. And I'm also glad I decided to do it in the first place. But yeah, this is Moonblood Camp. Moonblood Camp? No, I don't speak Swedish, sorry. It's Moonblood Camp, and there's a main quest thing we need to do before we can actually carry on with our playthrough. So when you reach the Elder, you should talk to him and choose the last dialogue option.
Well, I'm here now.
And just, this is another one of those cutscenes where you just can't skip it entirely, but instead you must mash X to skip all the text boxes, so don't try to skip it because you can't. After you have talked to the Elder, you drop down from that platform and start using ADC to the left. ADC doesn't stand for attack damage carry, but area dodge cancel, of course. And when you are on this platform, start lifting up the enemies by using the Dust Storm and Fidget projectile combination, like this. And when they are high enough, use them to boost up, so you will reach this platform. And there's going to be a generator here. Your objective is to start up the generator by using your lightning projectiles, so make sure to choose the right projectile by pressing R1 until you find the lightning one, and then just do that and it will start up. And you can perform a slide boost from this platform. It's actually quite a nice spot to do that. And then just ADC to the right as much as you can. You will probably drop a few ADCs, so don't worry about that. As long as you go to the right as fast as you can, you should be fine. And lift up these monsters and start using Rising Dust Storm to the right, like only to the right. Don't do any kind of back and forth stuff, just jump up and go to the right. So you kind of hit the bottom of that platform, which I just did, and then reach this platform and jump on top of it and go to the left. And use Rising Dust Storm to reach this platform. And dodge cancel to the left, I mean to the right, and until you reach this generator, and you should use the fire projectile to fire this up. You actually need to use it with the Dust Storm thing to create enough fire projectiles or whatever. And once you have activated both of the generators, you should go back up again. Hopefully you will reach this platform cycle. If you don't, it's actually a good idea to reload the save file, so you'll have a better cycle for the elevator if you happen to miss it. Jump up and start going to the right before you talking to Elder again, because there's one thing we need to do before we should talk to the Elder again. Lift these monsters up with your Fidget projectiles and start ADCing to the right. You can hit this trigger which starts this cutscene, but you can actually go over it. But it doesn't waste time if you actually trigger it too much. It's a very short cutscene. Instead of going all the way to the right, drop down here and open this chest. Because there's going to be these hand-like objects which are actually food. Let's see what they are called. They are king crab legs. So yeah, pick up those, because you will need to collect those items to be able to buy attack potions from the last shop. Because how the game works is, if you loot a good high food, a high tier food, it will unlock everything that is worse than the food that you just picked up. So by picking up that food, I will unlock all the food that is ranked lower than the food I just looted, kind of way. So the attack potion we want is ranked lower than the food we just got, so it gets unlocked in the shop. Hopefully that made even some kind of sense. Skip that, and now you can go back to talk to the elder. You actually have to do it before continuing. Once again, ADCs are your friends. Use them effectively. Unlike me. That was actually pretty bad. So yeah, go talk to the elder. And once again, you can't skip this, so you must smash, not smash, but mash X to skip the text boxes. It's unfortunate, but can't do anything about it. And now, go back to where you came from. Once again, lift up these monsters. And start doing ADC to the right. You can get a nice boost from these invisible monsters as well. Use that to your advantage. And finally, you can actually open this gate. Here, you are actually supposed to go down in the map view. Like, you're supposed to go down here. But instead, we are not going to go there, but we are going to go up instead. And how we do that is by just using our Rising Dust Storm to go back and forth to gain height until we reach a certain platform. And why we do this is because there is actually an ability below which I should obtain before going on according to the game. But since that ability itself is not very useful, we can just skip it by using our Rising Dust Storm like this. So go back and forth to gain heights until you see this platform, and then just land on it, and you have skipped a section. In this room, go to the left until you reach this wall, and use your Rising Dust Storm to reach this platform, and then maybe use that monster to boost up, and go here where you can see those lava streams or lava fountains, and go to the right until you reach that point, and then jump down. When you reach this point, you can see that there is a bomb right on top of me. You should actually get that bomb to blow up the wall to the left, but there is a slight problem. There are two invisible monsters right next to me, and the best way how to deal with them, or to avoid the bomb from hitting the enemies before the wall, is to land right below the bomb, and then jump up and use Aerial Dust Storm to activate the bomb like this. And most cases it will actually go over the soldiers, so you can blow up the wall without the soldiers interrupting you. So skip that, and then maybe knock back the enemies far enough. And there's a cutscene skip which you can perform, because there is going to be a panoramic cutscene in the next screen, and just like previously with panoramic cutscenes, we can skip that by going back and forth between the two rooms just as we are entering the level. And how we do that is by jumping up and using Aerial Dust Storm to the right, and then immediately after activating the Dust Storm, we hold left. So when the animation of the Aerial Dust Storm ends, we will immediately go left, which will send us back while the screen is actually transitioning. So it will the spot where you should jump is like from the bottom of that thing that is going up here. Like in the background you can see that, I'm not sure what it is, but it's some kind of branch. You should be at the bottom of the branch, kind of where when you are performing this jump. And just do that, keep holding left, and you will skip a cutscene. I explained this more in depth in episode 2. No, actually episode 3. So if you want to take a closer look at that, you should probably do that, because I really don't want to explain it again, because it's a bit abstract concept to explain. But yeah, this is Everdawn Basin we just reached, and this area is all about red barrier or avoiding red barriers, because there are a lot of enemies which can just get you stuck by causing a red barrier. So what you should do in the first few rooms of the level or the area is to use your Rising Dust Storm and just go to the right. There are a few enemies below me, but obviously they won't be a problem when I'm flying up here. This is not the fastest way how to do this area, but it is the safest. If you want to do a better strat, you should basically take advantage of the enemy position on the bottom of the map to get some nice boosts from those monsters. But I would advise doing this before you feel comfortable enough to abuse the enemy positioning the boost up, because you don't need to worry about red barriers at all here. So when you reach the 4th room using Rising Dust Storm, do a couple of more, about 5, and then start doing aerial dodge cancels to the right, and you should reach this point. And there are some monsters above me, use them to boost upwards, like this. Go a bit to the right so you will actually reach the area exits and don't drop down again. There are monsters to the left of me where you can get a boost, or you can use the monsters to boost up if you are good enough. That's a bit sketchy. And then start doing ADCs to the right until you reach this point, and you can see that the game is telling me that there's going to be a red barrier here, but for once don't believe the game telling you that there's a red barrier. Just walk through it and you should be able to do it, even if it doesn't make any sense in this case, but just do it. The only way how you get the red barrier there by just trying to walk is if there are flying monsters next to you, like those flying ships which are right next to you. Those can cause you a red barrier, but the monsters themselves won't cause it. Let me show that again. So even if these monsters will be right next to me, come on, like this, and the game is kind of telling me that there's a red barrier, you can just walk through it anyway. It's one of the most illogical red barriers in the entire game, and I'm not sure why it works like that, but just take advantage of the fact that it works like that. There's going to be a ship right about there. You can use it to boost up and then just dodge cancel to the right. There's going to be a cutscene telling me that there's a teleporter. If you get stuck on the red barrier in this room, I would suggest jumping into that teleporter, because it will take you to the first room of the whole chapter 5. And then you can use the teleporter to warp here again, so the enemy positioning will reset and you won't have the red barrier anymore. It doesn't happen very often to me personally, but it can happen. So if there's a red barrier here, enter the teleporter and then re-enter it to get rid of the red barrier. Here you can use the monsters to boost up a little and then do aerial dodge cancels. And then you reach this ledge. Use that big monster to boost upwards, because you need to be pretty high when you enter the next room. So when you are in this room, just stay near the ceiling, because... is there a checkpoint here? Yeah, there is. Let me show you something really quickly, because there's a sequence break we are going to do here. As you can see, there's going to be cannon fire trying to shoot me down constantly. If I use my dodge cancel, I can skip it. But as you can see, it will regularly hit me, and it's pretty annoying to get through the cannon fire. But what we can do instead, if we are at the top of this map when we enter it from the previous map, or if we just go up there instead, and if we are close enough to the ceiling when the cannon fire starts happening, we will be actually safe. The cannon fire won't hit us. And this is called cannon skip. It's actually pretty random whether or not you will get shot down or not, because it's entirely possible that you will get shot down during that screen, and we haven't found a super consistent way to avoid that from happening. But just keep in mind that if you get shot down, it's more about luck rather than skill, I would argue. But when you enter the second screen involving the cannon fire, you will get shot down pretty much immediately. So don't feel bad if that happens, because it's normal. Just use aerial dodge cancels for the rest of the room and hope to not get shot down too much. And when you reach this ledge, use the monsters to boost up like that until you reach the screen above you. If the monsters don't give you a good boost, you can just lift them up like this until you go up and do a couple of rising dust storms, and you should feel the boost when you reach a certain point. So you can boost up from these monsters to reach this platform. And this is another chest we really need to open, because there's going to be a very important item. It's this ring, actually. As you can see, it gives us quite a bit of statistic boosts, and we won't actually equip this, even though it might be useful. We don't equip this because we are going to have this so we can sell it in the shop, because the amount of money we get from selling this item is pretty huge, and we can use that to buy some useful items before the last boss fight. So just keep this in the inventory and don't equip it, even though it's actually a pretty good item. And once you have that, do a couple of aerial dust storms, and just like with the previous cannon skip, there's going to be another cannon skip in this room where you kind of where you are high enough so you can actually avoid the cannon fire entirely. And to the right from me, there are going to be some bomb monsters, and use them to boost up like this. Go back and forth so you don't hit the walls, maybe. There's a ship right there, you can use it to jump up. And this room is actually really annoying, because there are a lot of monsters which can end up causing you red barriers. So what I would advise you to do is reach this ledge right here and use the monsters to get a nice boost upwards like this, and then use Rising Dust Storm until you reach the next room, and then ADC to the right until you reach the floor basically, and just do another Area Dust Storm immediately to get a nice boost from the monsters. And then you reach this room, and basically you're done with Everdawn basing. The only thing left anymore is the final boss fight with Gaius, and before we do that, we should actually go to the shop.
Who are you?
There's a piece of dialogue which you can't skip. So yeah, what we should do is we should sell every kind of food we have. Usually you actually have more food available at this point which you can sell, but anyway, sell every piece of food you have. Sell your augments, the flesh steed which we got early in the game. Don't sell this pendant. This is basically the only thing you don't want to sell at this point. So you can sell basically everything else in the inventory if you have anything. You should not have anything other than the food, the augment, and this ring. Sell this ring. As you can see, it gives us 10,000 gold. So that's the reason why we picked up the chest in the first place. Sell that. If you have anything here, you might want to sell it. Don't sell the materials, because that's time consuming, and it's actually the gold you get from these materials is not worth it, so don't sell these. If you have anything in the items and keys section, you can sell that if you have any extra keys or whatever, because you won't be needing any keys from now on. And after you have sold your health items, your augments, and your ring, go ahead and buy yourself a new augment. It will be the plague oil, and it will look like a red potion flask or whatever. Buy one of those. And then I mentioned about the attack potions earlier. We picked up one of the chests, so we can actually activate these attack potions in the shop by picking up this item. So as you can see, the lower the item is, the higher tier it is. So by acquiring this item, we actually unlocked all the items that are below it, including the attack potion, which is called the shampoo, and it looks like a soup. And don't confuse it with doenjang, Nijigai or whatever, because this boosts your defense, which is not that useful. So buy as many shampoos as you can afford. Usually the amount of shampoos you get is around 15 to 16. 15 is enough, 16 is ideal, because you will be using about 4 shampoos per boss phase, and since the final boss has 4 phases, you will be needing 4 per phase, so that's total of 16 potions, attack potions. So yeah.
That went to, if I may, please.
So sell your food, sell your augment, sell your ring, and then buy a new augment and a bunch of attack potions. And once you have done that, you should probably equip them. So equip the health items, so the shampoos. So if you have the item on this slot, you can just use it by pressing L1 or left bumper or whatever it is in your controller. And then, of course, remember to equip the augment. That's very important. And climb up these vines. You don't even need to hit this checkpoint, but whatever. If something goes wrong, I will do it. And finally, the last boss fight of the game. There's a couple of cutscenes you can skip. So yeah, this is Gaius. Is the last boss fight of the game, and as I told you earlier, he has 4 phases, and in each phase we will basically use the same strat. What we are going to do is we are going to jump up and use XXXY combo up in the air. It's the same combo I actually used to get height in Blackmoor Mountains and to basically get some heights wherever I need it, but here I will use it offensively. So do an XXY combo up in the air and it will look like this. Oh, come on. 1 second, you do it without getting harmed. So you will slam down Gaius, and that's the most damage you can deal to this boss. So what you're going to do is you're just going to spam that move for the entirety of the fight. And while you do this, remember to keep using the attack potion. So you can see the red icon on top of dust. That's an indication that I have the attack potion equipped or consumed. And the thing about those attack potions is that they last 15 seconds per potion, and you don't have to worry about the fact that if you reuse one, it will reset the timer. That won't happen. The timer will actually stack. So if you use 3 potions at once, you will have the attack boost for 45 seconds, 15 per potion. So that's nice. Although the attack itself won't stack, so it's not actually that useful to just use every single potion at the start of the fight. I will actually time my consumes so I won't run out because I use them inefficiently. But yeah, just remember to pay attention to the red icon on top of dust, and if the red icon goes away, just reuse the potion, because the attack boost you get from the potion is pretty significant and it will make the fight go faster. So yeah, just keep spamming this combination. It's the most efficient damage you can do to him. You will probably accidentally do it on one of those soldiers. Whatever, it will happen. I'll do it. Okay, that has never happened before. I thought I soft-locked the game by leveling up at the wrong time. So that's the first phase done. The second phase is harder than the first phase, and that's because there's going to be more enemies present right next to Gaius, and then he's going to start spawning those purple bombs. So he will cast them, and they will kind of hang there for a moment before blowing up, so there is a short timer in each one of them. And what I want to do is, each time I finish one of these combos, I want to see to which direction Gaius gets knocked back. So in this case, I can see that Gaius gets knocked back to the left. So I want to actually dash to the right, so I will want to dash away from him, like this. And every time he gets knocked back, he starts casting the purple bombs. So basically why I do this, why I dodge away from Gaius, I will manipulate the positioning of those purple bombs, because he will cast the purple bombs like that, and when they are over here I can just jump towards Gaius and just do my combo, and by doing that I won't get hit by the purple bombs. So that's how I basically manipulate the positioning of the bombs. Oh god damn it. So yeah, he went to the left, I went to the right, and after he has casted the bombs I will jump towards him to do my combo. And I will keep repeating this over and over. If you go high enough in this map, it will actually spawn one of those flying ships. And it's a pretty huge pain in the ass. I ran out of potion, so I will make sure to consume one when I run out of potions. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward fight, because you just keep doing the same thing over and over. The third phase is pretty difficult, but I would argue it's not quite as difficult as the second one. God damn it. He parried me straight into those bombs. Sometimes it happens, it's pretty unfortunate. You can use the bombs on the sides to do some extra damage if you feel like, but I don't really like doing it because it screws up my combos and my pace. I have a nice rhythm going on. And patience is key. Don't be too hasty to do more damage to Gaius. Let him kind of get back up again and then do your combo, because I found out that by being patient with Gaius you are more likely to do more damage to him, or he's less likely to be annoying if you just kind of take your time with him and don't be too hasty to do your combos. And the last phase is the easiest one. You can see that there are 3 separate platforms, and underneath these platforms there's a bunch of lava. So what you want to do is you want to get Gaius on one of the platforms on the sides instead of the middle one, and what ends up happening is pretty useful. So whenever I finish a combo, Gaius will actually jump down or fall down to the lava, and what ends up happening is he will just jump back up again instead of hitting the lava. So this means that we can use the XXY combo and basically stun lock him like this. And this only works in one of the platforms on the sides. If you would do it on the middle platform, Gaius would only land on the side platforms and you would lose the combo. So this is probably the easiest phase out of the 4, even though it's the last one. So yeah, we're done with the fights. And once he runs out of the health, just go to the middle platform, and once he reaches a certain position you can actually damage him and do the last hits. This is not where you hit the timer yet. There's going to be a small sequence where you just hold right before you actually hit the timer. So just keep pressing right. So Gaius keeps scrolling to the right. There's actually no way to speed this up. There's a way to speed this up in Warp's category, but since this is Warpless we will just deal with it. The whole sequence lasts about 50 seconds. And once you touch Gaius, and once the screen fades to white, you can hit the timer, so right here. That's the time. And there you go. That's the whole 80% Warpless of Dust and Illusion Tale. Hopefully these tutorials were helpful. It was quite hard work doing this with all the editing and all the commentary in general, but I really hope that this was helpful, and some new runners will find this encouraging when they are starting off with this game. And yeah, you can find me on Twitch. On twitch.tv/Finspire. I will be doing quite a lot of Dust runs at least at the time of recording this. I'm not sure if I have moved on by the time you watch this. But anyway, you can find me there, and if you have any questions regarding to this game, you can just ask me. You can ask any questions you have in mind in the comments. I will most likely answer them. Or if you want to send me a personal message on Twitch, you can do that as well. I check my PMs pretty regularly. So, and if you want to join the Dust speedrunning group on Skype, you can also send me a personal message saying you want to join. We are happy to have new members, because the community is not really that big. We have like 10 people on the Skype group, and not nearly all of them are active. But yeah, I am done with this tutorial, and with that note, I wish this tutorial was helpful, and I will thank you for watching through all of this. If you did, I admire your patience, and yeah, there's not much else to say. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time, whatever the next time will be.